these days, I think most liberals would be more focused on equality, which is not a liberal principle.
Thank you.
So it's very interesting.
Hey, welcome back, Patriots. You're going to meet a great couple here from Amsterdam. I only wish that American millennials were half as awake as this couple appear to be. Just a good example, but you know, Europe in general, of course, is going to be more aware because they've got more of a history and they live more in reality than we do here in this country. And it's a shame because, you know, too many people get caught up in the fantasy land and the normalcy bias that we suffer from here. From time to time, you should live some hardship in order to put you in touch with what's really going on. And this is a good example of it. Anyway, I hope you like this couple. I hope you like this video. And if you do, then you hit the like button. And I damn sure could use some contributions. I got constantly repairs on the rig and the upkeep on this thing. And the weather hasn't been cooperating with me in the past month. So I've been able to get out as much as I'd like to. So if you would, please contribute in any way you deem fit by either becoming a subscriber at subscribestar.com, Badass Uncle Sam, going to my shop at Threadless, badassunclesam.threadless.com, or contributing through PayPal at badassunclesam76@gmail.com. It would be appreciated. Do all of the above, none of the above, but one thing you should do for me is at least pray for me out there because things are getting stranger and stranger. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and resubscribe. Check your subscription, make sure they haven't knocked you off because you know the bastards do that. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you on the other side of this video.
Oh no, I'm just a huge history buff. I'm not even from here, I'm from Europe.
Oh.
Yeah.
What part?
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Europe, Holland, Netherlands.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much about Amsterdam. For a long time it was getting a lot of press because of, you know, how the drug culture and, you know, the openness that was there.
Right.
But I haven't heard much about it lately. How's it faring?
It's actually faring pretty well because the idea behind it is, well, if you would just make sort of a prohibition on these things like soft drugs, marijuana, weed, whatever, then it's going to go underground onto the black market, and then neither the government or the police can get their grip on it. So they just thought, let's legalize it, and it's going pretty well. I mean, as a tourist, you'd be hard pressed to just walk into a coffee shop and buy a couple grams. So it's somewhat regulated. But I mean, we're doing pretty well, yeah.
I've always been an advocate. I'm kind of libertarian in that sense.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, that, you know, educate the children what that drugs do, and then when you get to be a responsible age.
Sure. So the minimum age is either 21 or 18, I think. So it's not like a 14-year-old can just walk into.
Thank you. Yeah, but you know, I mean, education first, what you do, and then. You know, because I don't think the government should have any right to tell us what we can put in our own bodies. I mean, we're dumb enough to go out there and snort Drano. It's
for sure.
We got to suffer the consequence if we're going to be responsible, free individuals.
Right. But this used to be a conservative standpoint. Now these days it's more of a libertarian standpoint. But then again, so I think conservatives these days aren't really libertarian, are they? Or?
I think it's a crossover. You know, when you get into these labels, like there's at times out here, I'll ask people, well, what makes you, define liberalism to me.
Sure.
What is it? What makes you a liberal? And they'll start talking, and you find out they're socially liberal but fiscally conservative. So okay, what does that? So the water start getting muddy.
Yeah.
And so the more you talk about this to people, the more you find out that the lines are crossed, and the attitudes are
transparent.
Yeah, and so the labels become less important.
I think it's very interesting because I'm sort of a political scientist by trade, and so the original label of liberalism is based on liberty. It's
right,
in liberalism.
Exactly.
But these days, I think most liberals would be more focused on equality, which is not a liberal principle.
Thank you.
So it's very interesting.
Thank you. I mean, the equality itself is kind of like what is that? Because none of us are equal. I mean, we're just now. You can have equal, like in the eyes of the law.
Right.
Yes, that could be. We're all there.
Equal opportunity and
equal opportunity. But as far as us all being, everybody. No,
we're equal under the law, but we're not the same. We are different, but right.
Yeah, and you got to recognize it. I mean, I know my limitations, and I don't strive to give me that because I don't have that, but that guy does, and I want what he has.
Yeah.
No, he has earned that from his abilities, so I'm not going to...
The sweat of his brow, if you will.
Thank you, and I'm not going to claim that just because I haven't got the ability they do, but unfortunately we find that liberalism today tends to do that. They tend
be more socialism, actually.
Well, indeed. Yeah, it is, and I think the powers that be are playing that to its max to try to do what they always do: eviscerate nation states' individuality and bring in. Thank you very much. See, yep. Very good at what you do, sir. Whatever it is, you're hell damn good at.
I try my best.
Yeah, indeed.
And so my last question is: but then, do you think he's going to get reelected?
Oh, without a doubt. I can't. As long as the economy stays strong, housing, because it always comes down to bread and butter. I mean, you could throw all these equal and racism. I think that doesn't matter. Nobody gives a crap. It always comes down to bread and butter. Are you giving me a job, or am I able to make put food on the table? And more people are look at their wallets and looking at job opportunities, and they're going,
He's got the incumbent advantage. He's got the economy sort of behind him. Foreign policy is also doing pretty well, and the Democrats are a house divided against themselves at this moment, and don't really have a platform apart from impeach Trump.
Yeah, and they don't have anybody with any real charisma. There's nobody that stands out, that can possibly stand up against him.
No.
And then a lot of their policies are just asinine.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry. They're asinine. I mean, the Green New Deal.
Right.
Break.
Eliminate cow farts.
Yes, I mean, get rid of fossil fuels.
Right.
What are you, crazy?
And what's the best one? Well, the most interesting one is granting free health care to all illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
That's So at one of the first debates, the Democratic debates, the host asked all the candidates, so would you be in favor of health care for all illegal immigrants entering the country? And they all raised their hands.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Wow was right? I mean, really, hey, all 8 million of you, come on over.
Yeah,
Who's going to pay for this?
Oh my god.
It's like,
that's ridiculous.
As I said, it's like you have to smack yourself to say, did I just hear that? Did they just actually do that? So it's like, who are they talking to? Because when you speak to the people, like I do on the streets here, I'm hard pressed to find anybody, even liberals, that were into infanticide, open borders, and eliminating fossil fuels.
Maybe some gun control thrown into there, just for good measure.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. So it's kind of. It seems like they picked the most unpopular subjects and then champion them.
Yeah, but even Joe Biden, who is sort of a centrist establishment, neoliberal, whatever candidate, the safe guy like Clinton in the last election, even he put up his hand. That was really interesting.
Yeah, but you can, because I think, they're looking at the Cortez and the Leaves.
Squad and Elon Omar.
Yeah, the ones that are making all the noise.
Sure.
And for some reason, they think that's the way to go. And I just the echo chamber. It's like the Mueller thing.
Right.
I don't know why they thought that would be a good idea and bring that old fart up.
Right.
And,
I think even Mueller, when he first started it, after a couple months, he thought, okay, this is going nowhere. We got nothing on Trump. We got to find some dirt to justify this whole, this whole investigation. So, which is why they went after what's his name, Manafort,
yes,
and the other one.
But I don't even think he was aware of what was going on.
Right.
I'm looking at Weinstein and and the ones behind the scenes that have a little bit mental capacity more than he did.
Right.
I think they were the ones in charge, and they just kind of put Mueller up there as a stamp because he had the rep. And but as it were, he's gone. His reputation's been shot now.
Yeah.
He's completely gone. So I don't know what they were. Again, what are they thinking? Do they even think? What are they?
Probably not.
Yeah.
They're trying to outbluff each other or outdo each other.
Yeah. So no, as long as the economy stays strong, it should be a landslide.
Yeah. You think it's going to get more electoral votes than last time?
I think so. I can't help it. Again, the thing that worries me is, of course, the ability for Google, the whole
censored conservatives, or
to
influence the election.
Indeed, because I watched a movie, a documentary the other night. It was called The Great Hack.
Right. By who? Made by who?
I can't remember offhand, but it was put out by Universal, so it was kind of like a Trump hitch up.
Maybe Bannon, maybe?
No, Bannon they didn't put it out. Bannon, he was in it, but Cambridge Analytica had a lot to do with it because of their ability to, get on social networks and then use the data collection to go ahead and basically categorize every single one of us and to target every one of us. Now, once they did that, now you got the brainiacs and the left doing the same thing to the point where there's Robert Epstein, I believe is his name, who is a master at analyzing the whole tech industry and their ability to control people's minds.
This is a different Epstein than the other.
The Jeffrey Epstein. Right. No, this guy who's like heavy into computers. Brainiac. And he says that Google has the ability to influence up to 15 million votes, which is a
with advertisements or the things that would come
up. The
targeted
analytical
results.
Advertising to keep, in other words, keep information away from, the targeted, and being able, again, to get each individual, each one of us as in a category and then target and suppress certain stories,
results,
amplify others to the point where, we're just by influencing, without us even being aware of it, can influence us.
Yeah.
So that's the scary part. I would like to see Trump be able to come down harder.
He sort of did, or he said he was going to monitor it, right? He said,
but it's all talk so far. I mean, we need some hardcore.
And he had the social media summit.
Yeah, indeed. But again, it's so far all I've seen is talk. They don't. Nobody's really come down hard. There's been a few lawsuits.
So he would do this in an ideal world with an executive order, or how would he fix this?
Well, I think it would have to come through. That would be part of or start of it. But I think Congress is the one we'd have to look at to do that. Because if it wasn't so partisan, because it does affect.
The House is, of course, Democratic.
Yes, and it because this shouldn't be a partisan issue,
right?
But because the tech industry is so left, and they are part of the whole globalist movement. Thank you. That it's going to be hard to coordinate this right now. So
Hopefully you can overcome it. Hopefully it doesn't have that big of an effect.
Yeah.
But I see that as a big danger because
I think the next danger actually is Instagram, because a lot of people these days know about Mark Zuckerberg selling our stuff to the Chinese via the Cambridge Analytics report, but then there's a lot of people these days, especially young people, who run Instagram, but it's also owned by Mark Zuckerberg, so he's gonna use the same.
And again,
data
they're giving them anything online, of course, has the ability to be manipulated by the industry, by the tech industry. So it's like, okay, knowing that, and if they have that ability, how do we even be able to track it? How do we know they're, how do you do that?
I remember, here's my train of thought. There was the election with Bush against Gore, and then, of course, Bush won. But the voting machines or the ballot boxes in Florida were all messed up.
Yeah, that was
right?
the Chad one.
That was
throwing the hanging Chads.
Right.
See, at that time, that's when we should, indeed, right after that election reform was number one thing on the news. We got to have election reform. Because our election system's all screwed up. 9/11, of course, just took that right off the front page and put it on the back burner. And since then, it's been.
Did you like the Patriot Act right after 9/11?
Oh, well, that was already written. So that was there because 9/11 itself is a hoax. We knew that was a false flag. That's one of the things that Trump said when he was running that made me go, what? He says, you elect me president, you will find out who really brought down the Twin Towers.
Did he really?
Wow.
Yeah, see, that's a quote. And if you see the interview day after 9/11, an interview Trump was in New York as a builder.
Sure.
And he said, look, I'm a builder. There's something wrong here. Those buildings, they don't come down like that. Planes would not bring them down like that. So he knows all about 9/11. And how do you bring that out as a world leader?
Right.
Knowing the entrenched deep state, that it still has a huge influence.
Sure.
How
The deep state in this sense would be the intelligence community, or
the parts of again, it's never one thing. Like when you say the government is involved in 9/11. Well, the government, parts of the intelligence agencies. So there are, because when you get into like an intelligence agency, they're so compartmentalized that, this guy over here doesn't know what this one's doing. So with that, you're going to get breakaways. You're going to get guys that are bad players. They're going to form their own little secret units, and they're going to do the things that they can get away with. It's a natural progression that's going to happen. It's sort of like a human nature thing. Some people you give power to. What does it say? The whole saying, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolute. So when you give an agency absolute power with no oversight, you're going to get some bad players. So and that's what happened. Who are those bad players? Those are the ones that obviously perpetuated things like most of the false flags. Uncovering them is what we're doing.
Sure. We're going to go over Aces hardware store.
And here's a get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton. Good for any crime in the world.
That's pretty good.
It's a pleasure meeting you guys.
Yeah, it was. It sure was. Have a nice day.
Check out my YouTube channel. You'll be on it.
Michael Dubai. Oh, you're filming?
Yes, I am.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Here we go. Nice one. I actually want to bring my camera as well. Okay.
Come on, Ed. He wants his picture.
So, nice couple. As I said, I damn sure wish more American millennials were as awake. All right, thanks for stopping by. Remember, like it if you like it, care if you share, or share if you care. I'll get it right one day. Okay. God bless you. See you on the streets.